monkey in your pants?
Hi folks, thanks for back with another video. I said that pretty quick, didn't I? But never mind. Some pickups is what it is. A SNES Quest 2018. How long is this joke going to run on for? I do not know. This chair squeaks. I apologise. So it's some pickups, some SNES and some Spectrum. SNES, aka Super NES, Super Nintendo for you other people in the world that don't call it a SNES. SNES, SNES. That's it. But the first things are some Spectrum games and the HitSquad games. I will do an updated HitSquad collection at some point for those of you who may be interested. As you know, I collect the budget re-release HitSquad games, or the re-releases budget games under the HitSquad label. It's what they are. But yeah, some of them are certainly not budget, and some of them can be quite pricey. Pricey? Is that a word? Pricey? Pricey it is now. Anyway, this game I didn't pick up, but I actually watched this go on auction on a Facebook page recently, and I think it went for £230, £250 for a Spectrum game. It's Adam's Family HitSquad version. I won this in a raffle, I think, quite a little while ago. But yeah, this now I think is possibly my most expensive game. Adam's Family, £230 for a Spectrum game. I wouldn't pay anywhere near that. But these are all HitSquad games. I got them off the one seller, if I can pick them up without dropping them, on the Facebook page. Quite a bit of money for the 5 of them, but there were games that I needed in my collection. But when I say quite a bit of money, nothing compared to Adam's Family or anywhere near it. The first game, you probably might not be able to see this with the glare. You might be able to. Is Vindicators. I don't think it's a game that I've played actually. Excellent gameplay, challenging, tough, and very addictive. The 2-player mode adds that competitive edge. A stonking good blast, said CNVG Hit. I can't even tell what it looks like, because the screenshots aren't even Spectrum screenshots. It's some sort of tank game, I would guess. Best guess, maybe. Next game, it's one of my actual favourite games ever. Originally played this on arcade. On the arcade machine back in the day, local leisure centre when I was, who knows, 7, 8, 9 years old. Used to have this arcade machine. I loved it. I think it's pretty good. It's now, how do you say this? It's spelled XYBOTS. Now, is it called XYBots? Is it called Zybots? You know the game anyway. It's pretty decent. I do like it. It's not the best on the Spectrum. Obviously, the lack of colour, lack of detail to a certain degree. But it's a classic for me and one that I needed in the collection. The next one is, I don't know if this camera's still recording. I'm hoping it is. Let me just check. Beep. Who knows? Might not be recording anymore, but we'll just run. The phone said it stopped working. The next game, if I have to record this again, I'll be pissed, is Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Game that I played on the Commodore 64 actually back in the day. I think it was one of the few games that came on a cartridge, I believe, in part of a pack. I think it was one of my friends, or no, I'm not sure who had this. I want to say Paul, Retro Prime, I think is what you call him, but I'm not too sure. It's not very good. There's a lot of movie tie-ins weren't back in the day. Next game. Was probably one of the crappiest games ever. Not too bad in the arcade. I do remember being quite fond of it in arcade machines, but home ports didn't fare too well, or was it the case that the arcade machine was never very very good in the first place? It's the classic Pit Fighter is what it is. I don't think I've played it on the Spectrum. I'll have to give it a go. I'm sure it's going to be shite. I did play it on I had it on the Super Nintendo, I think. Back in the day, but I remember seeing it sort of time, you know, when you're a child, you're walking about the arcade machines and you're like, oh my god, that looks amazing, those look like real people, oh my god, look, they're doing kicks and stuff, mummy, can I please play this? I remember playing on arcade machines, but I never ever went as, was it Buzz? The fighter wrestler. Why are you going to go as a wrestler when you can go with like proper ninjas? Next game, I have got no idea what this game is actually, at all. But it's one that I needed. It's got a picture of a dragon on the front. It's called Puffy's Saga. Nothing to do with Puff the Magic Dragon. But it's... I've got no idea. No idea. I'm gonna have to play this actually and see what the game's like. But it's Puppy Saga. So that's another 5 games added to the HitSquad collection. It is coming along. I don't know percentage wise where I am with it, etc. I'm just looking. I've got quite a few on the shelf now. I may do like a more of a vlog for my own recollection, I suppose, is a HitSquad early 2018 update and all the games that I've got. Now, moving on from the spectrum, because it's a bit of a niche system, I suppose. Everybody probably had them, or an Amstrad or a Commodore 64 back in the day, but when you speak of retro games, it's usually like your consoles. Nobody really thinks of the spectrum and stuff like that. So, to change gear, I suppose, for you people, these are Super Nintendo games. I've had these for quite a little while now. The first game, I want to say is it a Final Fantasy game? I think it is. It's by Square. Maybe it's just called something different in this country. I think you can tell me in the comments down below. Now you may get a lot of glare here. I'm sorry if you do, but it's Mystic Quest Legend, or is it something that's supposed to be a very basic, easy RPG game? I don't know. Things are just ringing in my head, and I'm not 100% sure. Bought this from Retro Dave a little while ago. It's still got the little free strategy guide there. It's in a protected case. I'm not going to open it. They are box complete, etc. So I think he was selling a few games, and that was one that I needed. And I was like, yep, all right, I'll have that one. Next game, I'm trying to think what order I'll do these in, is a classic for me. When I had a Super Nintendo as a child, it's one of these systems, I can't remember where I originally got it from, if I'd swapped it with somebody for something else, if I'd bought it, etc. But I had a Super Nintendo with this game, an adapter, like an import adapter, and I had Pocky and Rocky, and a couple of other games at the time. And I remember playing this game a lot, and I'd originally played this on the Atari ST and the Amiga, but they sort of took it. It works well on the console and added a little bit Nintendo-esque to it. But it was something that I was looking for a reasonable, decent copy for quite a while, and all the ones that were coming up were absolutely battered. But it is, for me anyway, absolute classic. It is SimCity. Now I'd like to go that and show you, but look, it just goes blurry because of the way this camera works with the. Well, I've got it set to manual focus. But it is box complete, very nice condition. Had my eye out for this for quite a wee while before I found a reasonably decent copy of it. But it plays well. It's SimCity. If you know what SimCity is, it's a good version of SimCity, but a little bit Nintendo-esque thrown into the mix, I suppose. Next game is one of the earliest Super Nintendo games I played. I mentioned before, I got 2 friends who are brothers, and their sister got a Super Nintendo, but they sort of semi-hijacked it as their own, and we used to play on it all the time. And I saw versions of this game in magazines for the Game Boy, and I can't remember how this went about. It was bought, but I remember being excited to see it and play it when it was coming back from the shops, and we played it a lot. It's a good game, certainly a nostalgic game for me. It's got really good music, good gameplay, good graphics, etc. But it is Super Adventure Island. It's sort of a wee bit out of shot. We'll do it to the left-hand side. Sorry, I just saw in the little screen. Super Adventure Island, it's in decent condition again. Well, it's boxed and complete, but again, it's one of these games that I was looking for quite a while, and all the copies I'd like, rips or bits missing, etc. But I'm glad to get that. It's a decent version of it. It is boxed and complete, I think. Yes, it is, because I can see the manual. It just felt like a little bit light. There you go, manual in there, etc. But yeah, it's iconic classic game for me. Actually, I'll stick that manual at the back, or else it's going to end up getting gubbed with that flap at the front. Yeah, it's one of the early Super Nintendo games that I played, and I do really like it. I'm like SimCity. I was watching for quite, I'm like, you know, you shouldn't do this stuff on camera. I can't get stuff back in. Quite a long time until a decent version of it came up. But I have had this a little while. Next game is, like I say, all the things I'm doing with Super Nintendo games are all like nostalgia games, or games that I played a lot, or games that I used to own, etc. I don't know how this one's rated, what people think of it. I like it. It's called F1 Race of Champions, I think, in other parts of the world. But certainly in this part, although it says 3D simulation. Mode 7 simulation. Not so sure if you class that as 3D. But it is exhaust heat, if you didn't guess already what it is. Again, sorry if it's glaring you. Is in a box protector. It's box complete. It's one of these iconic games. Used to play at my cousin's house on his Super Nintendo back in the day. But yeah, it's a fun little simple racing game. There's a couple of games like it on the Super Nintendo actually. Now this next game, let's say all these I bought quite a wee while ago. This next game, I played the crap out of it when I was younger. Like constantly, I remember deliberately going in and out of one screen and killing the baddie, going back, killing the baddie, going back, so I could level up and level up and level up. I don't particularly remember ever completing it. I don't fondly remember the end of the game, what it looked like, what happened, anything like that. So I can only assume that I never completed it. And this game as well, it seems to be quite hard to get a decent copy of, certainly complete with the map as well. So I was glad when I saw this, and I bought this quite a while ago. It's got a little bit of something on the box here and there. I don't know what you'd call it. I do not know. Like something's been spilt on it at some point or something, but it's hardly noticeable. And the box itself is in really good condition. But it is Secret of Mana. It's absolute classic RPG game for me. It's probably one of the first RPG game. Well, Zelda on the Game Boy, I suppose. But one of the proper first RPG games that I properly played. I'd say it's more RPG than what Zelda is on the Game Boy. Take no offense to that, if you know what I mean. But also, Super Nintendo, you could play 2 players, and I think you could also play 3 players with it on a multi-tap as well. But the soundtrack, everything for that game is absolutely iconic and classic for me. I know people who don't like it for whatever reason, but I suppose it's what you like, what you don't like, what you grew up with, what you played, etc. I've got wind that's about to come out. I realised I maybe just hit the microphone. But yeah, classic games. Let me know, actually, Mystic Quest. Never played it. I'm not really sure what it's about. I'm pretty sure it's a Final Fantasy game. I may be wrong. But yeah, quite a few nice additions to the collection. The HitSquad games coming along, and the boxed Super Nintendo games slowly coming along. Not bought any for a while, but they will just trickle in as and when they do. But as always from me though, folks, thank you much for watching. Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you next time. Is this camera even working? Fuck knows. Fuck knows. Fuck knows.
Do you have a monkey in your pants?